Hey everybody, Marky here from John 1911, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. This has come up a couple of times, I'd say, the past few days. I've noticed it about the past week, and generally the questions that we get are, what do we think about Colt? What do we think about what's happened to Colt, and why does Colt seem like it's failing as a company? And I guess the first answer to the question is, and I don't think I'm really speaking out of turn, anybody that's actually even moderately a firearms professional, no one gives two shits about Colt. No one cares about Colt. People that actually either shoot guns, either seriously, competitively, or for work, don't pay attention to that cool kid historical meme that somehow Colt is, some storied brand or a company worth paying attention to. Colt is a joke. I mean, Colt in the firearms community is like Lehman Brothers. If you look at an old company that hasn't changed with the times, that hasn't right-sized its business, like, Sears is going out of business and Kmart, or maybe General Electric. You've got all these companies that they're living in the past. They think that they're, in Colt's case, it's probably not. The numbers don't match. Like, Colt is still going through life thinking it's $1 billion company. In reality, it's a $10 million company. And they've never really right-sized their business or their organization to function that way. And even worse, the truth is, Colt is not really a real company. You take if you look at the firearms business right now, look at the AR business and look at the 1911 business. Whether you're talking Kimber or the high-end companies like Wilson or Brown or Bear, or maybe even like the Jason Burtons and the Full House Custom guys, or whether you're talking on the AR side like the Daniel Defense or Bravo Company, those are actually real companies or real businesses. Even Jason Burton as an individual, he's functioning as a business. Colt is not an actual business. Colt is really a government-subsidized substitute for the old military arsenal system. And it's been that way since, whenever Secretary McNamara, Secretary of Defense, shut down, the Springfield Arsenal and Rock Island Arsenal and all these government arsenals that are bloated. And that's not an uncommon thing. That's actually a trend that's gone on worldwide. Enfield shut down their stuff, and, a lot of the French arsenals have been right-sized or shut down as well. The only difference is those countries really don't have very viable firearms markets, so they didn't really have any commercial civilian-sized businesses to replace them. In the United States, we have a viable firearms community in a very healthy, robust firearms market. So, Colt has been living off of the government teat for, Lord knows how long. And they just keep doing the same things over and over again. They didn't really put their civilian customer first, didn't really put the law enforcement customer first, and really didn't invest in the future. So, over time, all these competitors basically have destroyed Colt. Just look at the market. Today it's October 2018. The three most popular firearms, I think it's fair to guess, in the country today are AR-15s, 1911s, and Glock pistols. Colt used to own 66.6% of that market. What the hell happened there? Well, it's real simple. Colt is not a real company, and I can even prove it to you in like this. So you look at the current firearms, look at the current, say, AR-15 market, and I'm not trying to pick favorites here because I don't have favorites on this, but you look at a company like LMT, or you look at a company like Daniel Defense, or you look at a company like Bravo Company USA, and they make ARs, but if you look at what they've done over the past 10 years. Or 15 years, or just their product line. They've tried things, they've expanded, they've pushed the envelope, trying to make new and better and more exciting designs because they need to innovate or die. Colt, they don't give a shit. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again because they don't innovate. And actually, this is where you're going to burst the bubble on the whole idea that Colt is this American tragedy. This company, it's, a world without Colt is just going to be so awful. No, it's been awful for a while. Look, Colt did not invent the 1911. They didn't innovate that design. John Moses Browning made that. Colt didn't invent the AR-15. Eugene Stoner made that. Colt is just not even comparable. Colt is not a real business. Hasn't been a real business for a long time. And here's the real shame of it. If you even look objectively at Colt, what their current situation is. Someone comes down from Mars, they're looking at the business environment, they're looking at the cultural environment, and you say, what can I do with this company to make money? What can I do with this company to turn a profit? What can I do with this company to move forward? Well, if you can't innovate and move forward and come out with new designs or research or develop, you look to your past. You look backwards. You trade on your history. You trade on your tradition. You trade on your panache. You trade on, this entire body of work. You leverage your brand. Oh, never mind. Let's have Browning, that wasn't even a firearms company. They'll come out with all these retro guns, but Colt, they're not going to do it. Oh yeah, it's right now somebody who's a Colt excuse maker or a Colt apologist is going to be like, but they came out with they had this retro gun at SHOT Show, and, they're doing it. Yeah, what was it, $2,500? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. I mean, it's just not real. Colt is not a real company. And so when people ask me about Colt or the subject of Colt comes up, I don't pay attention to them because, Colt is, and I've said it now multiple times, Colt is like the Lehman Brothers of the firearms business. And the worst thing everybody's ever done to Colt is they enable Colt to just kind of go on as this zombie company with these bullshit problems and this bullshit, this bullshit story that they're even real. They're not. The best thing that can happen to Colt, in my opinion, if you wish Colt to survive, if it's, let's say you buy into that and, for some reason, everything's going away and everybody's beating us and, damn Amazon's putting everybody out of business and Walmart's putting everybody out of business, or the damn Chinese are putting everybody out of business, or NAFTA. Well, Colt can't say that shit. I mean, Colt doesn't have any of that to hang their hat on. Colt can't say, well, why does Colt not do well? Because, well, it's a different time, it's, we're not really a gun culture anymore. We don't really have guns in the United States. That's kind of an old man kind of sport. Those days are past. Wrong. I mean, there's 400 million guns in this country. There's more guns now than ever. There's been more guns sold in the past, 12 years than, there's definitely been more guns sold since 9/11 than anybody could shake a stick at. So, Colt can't really do that. The best thing that can happen to Colt, for real, is that they completely collapse. And the only value Colt has is two things. The first thing is its intellectual property. And at this point, since, there might be some patents out there of some gun or some design that they've designed but have never sold publicly, which is kind of, again, we're in a kind of a retarded zone here. And the second thing is their history. So if I was an investor, if I was on Wall Street and I was someone who was going to buy Colt, all I want their intellectual property, which is their brand. I want the Colt logo. I want the Colt name. I want all that Colt identity. And I want every scrap of paper and piece of historical documentation and reference gun and collections and museums and all of that. That's what I want. I want the name, and I want all the history, all the production records, and all of that. And the rest of it, yeah, if you want to give it to me, I'll take it. But, all the tooling and all that stuff, yeah, whatever. I don't need that. I'm going to move that company out of Connecticut or wherever they're located at and nuke it from orbit and start over right-size Colt in Tennessee or Alabama or Wyoming or Texas or maybe, the upper Midwest somewhere, in some place and start off Quit pretending Colt is a $1 billion company and realize it's a $100,000 company, and make some guns I'm proud of and build that reputation and build products one at a time. And if make enough money to survive on that, maybe try to innovate and do some R&D and possibly come out with some new guns. So, if everything I just said struck you the wrong way, that's fine. What's going to happen to Colt is going to happen to Colt. But consider this, okay? Look at these products, these government programs of all these guns, whether they're handguns or they're rifles, that are submitted for government contracts, RFPs. You've got the SCARs and you've got the, like the Glock 19. Glock didn't get the modular handgun contract. Well, that didn't stop Glock from releasing it. FN didn't get the modular handgun contract. That didn't stop FN from releasing their new 509 tactical remake of the FNS gun. Or smaller companies, Gemtech, the suppressor program, they didn't get the suppressed upper receiver group program, the suppressed AR upper, the surge program, however you pronounce it. But they took that product that they submitted. They're pretty proud of it. It's definitely survived, testing, and bam, it's out on the market. You can't even keep those things in stock, and they're pretty expensive. What does Colt do? Colt doesn't do anything. Colt lives in the past, and it's, the best thing. No one pays attention to Colt. And the government even kind of agrees with everything I just said on Colt, because why do you think they gave the M16 and M4 parts of the program to FN? Because they know Colt's not going to be there. They can't count on him. Colt's not a real company. Colt is some weird pseudo-public, private money pit that is supposedly a commercial enterprise, but really operates as some kind of bullshit government arsenal that is just retarded. Anyway, that's what I feel about Colt. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.